But again, so my question is this. At 70 it looks good for a number of oil producing states around the world, Nigeria, Angola, we need this money, Ghana.
Yeah, there are projects that are not tenable. Projects that you just can't tender before your committee, your investment committee as an IOC or as an oil company, except you have $60 oil in the market or $70 oil in the market.
They're going to look at it.
Exactly. So they're not going to look at it because if you're talking about, for instance, a deep water field offshore Angola, you're not going to be looking at anything less than a $60 oil price. You need to get to that point. Some of the pre-salt discoveries that we saw, over the last few years in Angola as well too, they just won't work unless you have 60, 65, probably almost $70 oil in the market as well too. So that's what we're saying. That's what you need to see. And I think that's what this also gingers to some extent. That's why this gingers some excitement, because it just shows that the market has reached a point where $60 oil is not it's not just here a flicker anymore. We've reached 60, we've passed 60, we've gone into 70. So it means there's some stability around that $60 oil, which gives some assurance.
Do you think there's a support? Do you think there's enough support for 60?
Maybe not fully at 60, but to some extent, yes. Let's say I'd say 60-40, 60-40%.
Okay, at 60?
At 60, yes. And the reason why I say that is because, again, where we are in the month, we are in January. By February, refinery maintenance will start. Refinery maintenance will start in North America, and then it will start in March in Europe and Asia. So prices then tend to flicker around that time, and we could see it dive down back into the 60s. But there's some support around 60 right now. And I don't see, till we finish this month of January, unless there's a major shock to demand, there's no reason for oil prices to dip below 60.
Not even 50?
No.
We've dispensed with 50?
No, we've dispensed with 50.
And we're holding 60. 70 is just to clinch glasses, maybe. We should go back to the drawing board.
The interesting thing is, because the market is still very tight right now, and we're still seeing that cold weather,
snap,
exactly that cold snap we're having, still extending itself further into the month of January and possibly early February as well too. It probably will stay around this range. We could even see it rise if there are still some shocks in the market because right now we're still expecting OPEC numbers for December. If we see OPEC numbers, that pushes sentiment even further again, because again, compliance in OPEC has been super fantastic.
Why is Iran unhappy with this party that we're having?
Well, how we have a saying that the head that breaks the coconut tends not to enjoy in the coconut. Now, or the head on which the coconut is broken.
Yes,
doesn't enjoy.
Hardly get to share. That's an African proverb.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it was the similar case with Nigeria in 2016 when prices started recovering because our own barrels were off the market. We had the militancy issue. Now they're having a similar situation where a lot of their barrels are off the market. And don't forget, they're having a challenge with recertifying their nuclear deal as well too. So again, there's a threat of sanctions on their crude cargoes as well too. So they're not very happy because they can't take full advantage of the situation in the market as well. So
they can't join the party.
They can't join the party.
So the way for Iran to go is to knock OPEC and say,
pretty much.
And of course, technically Saudi Arabia.
Technically, yes.
Yes, technically.
And that's the focus, really.
They say, well, OPEC, why are you guys happy? Why are you oversupplying the market?
Yeah.
Why is everyone happy? We cross 50, we cross 60.
Again, you have to think about the fact that when OPEC started this court, and when we breached the idea of the court, the idea was to get to 60. Saudi Aramco said, we can't do our IPO unless we get to 60.
2016.
Exactly. The idea was we want to get to 60, and then we're still in the 40s. We're in the high 40s. We're looking for, let's even get to 50 and 55 and stay at 55. And everybody was like, oh, Saudi Aramco IPO cannot happen unless it gets to 60. And OPEC said, okay, let's make the cut and let's see if we can push prices to 60. If we get to 60, we're fine. Everybody will be okay. And we got to 60. We passed 60. We got to 70, and the cut is still there.
Yeah, I'm sure Iran will be happy. But Saudi Arabia, the kingdom will be happy.
Definitely, most definitely. Don't forget, Saudi Arabia just recently had to reduce their subsidies, increase petroleum prices, and even gasoline prices went.
Ooh,
in Naira right now, gasoline prices in Saudi Arabia are 195 Naira per litre. So it's significantly higher, and all that because they were starting to feel the pangs of the oil price situation. But this is good news for them. This is good news.
What's your outlook? We have about 2 minutes to wrap up this session and move on and bring everything back home here. Okay. Maybe by then we'll have to do away with these glasses. I'm not too sure. But then let's keep it there. No. Let's keep it there. What's your outlook on OPEC's first meeting for 2018? Just late last year, we have an extension till the end of 2018. 18 in terms of the...
The Joint Monetary Committee is really the focus everybody's going to... The people everybody's going to be focusing on right now. The Joint Monetary Committee, which is actually a combination of OPEC countries and some non-OPEC countries, who are going to be monitoring the market on a monthly basis to see where the market is at, how the balance in the market is. And their first meeting will be in January, definitely. And the idea will be to see... Because compliance has been very strong in the last half of 2017. And now that we've reached that 60, there will be some worry that some of the non-OPEC countries may start to drop compliance. Because again, there's an opportunity to sell cargoes here at very good prices.
Everybody's got to make money on
Nigeria is selling Brent at Brent plus 1, Brent plus 1.5. So everybody's pushing cargoes at really good prices. That compliance will be an issue. And I think that's what they'll be monitoring. So the question will be, we want to see the first set of compliance figures by January and by February. That would influence OPEC decision by June when they have their first meeting.
Okay. We have a lot more conversation later. You still here? Let's drink it. That's to the oil price at 70 again. Thank you, everyone. We're taking a 2-minute break and then still be part of the program. We're now bringing everything home to the Nigerian economy. How do we spend this windfall? And we're talking about how the administration is handling all of this. Let's talk about that when we come back.